Hi everyone, I'm Ava, and welcome back to your financial journey. You've probably heard of Warren Buffett, one of the richest people on earth, CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, and arguably the greatest investor in the world. And for someone of his wealth, he's also pretty down-to-earth and folksy. His annual shareholder meetings have become rock concerts for everyone interested in money and investing. That's all pretty incredible. And what's even more incredible is that part of the reason Buffett got so rich is because he started investing when he was just 11, which resulted in him eventually becoming the world's wealthiest man. It makes you wonder just how he did it. So in today's video, we'll be taking a closer look at how Warren Buffett made his massive fortune. Specifically, we'll cover his early life and start in investing, his experience at Berkshire Hathaway, and how he eventually became the richest man on earth. Let's get started. Warren Buffett was born on August 30th, 1930 in Omaha, Nebraska. And yes, that makes him close to 95 years of age at the time of this taping. But even from a young age, he had one goal: making money. He started his investing career early, purchasing his very first stock, 3 shares of City Service Preferred, a natural gas company that no longer exists, at the age of 11 for $38 each. Buffett was pretty concerned about his investment doing well and checked it frequently. But here it led to him making a classic rookie mistake. After his stock plunged and rose again, he sold it for $40 at a small profit to get rid of it quickly, only to see it surge massively, with him missing out on the extra money he could have made. But that experience taught Buffett an important lesson: that patience is key in investing. He realized that trying to guess when to buy and unload a stock isn't a great idea, but that you should buy shares in companies that you believe will do well over time, and hold on to them for the long term. This realization helped Buffett make his fortune much later down the line. Buffett was always a natural businessman and pursued more business ventures in high school than some people do in their entire lives. He sold chewing gum and Coca-Cola from door to door, worked in his grandfather's grocery store, and delivered newspapers. And as a high school sophomore, he and a friend created a business out of putting pinball machines in barbershops, which they eventually sold for $1,200, the equivalent of about $17,000 today. By the time Buffett graduated from high school, he'd already saved up over $5,000, worth over $60,000 today. And he wanted to keep pursuing his business ventures, but his father pressured him to go to college first. So Buffett enrolled at the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania before transferring to the University of Nebraska in his home state. After that, Buffett went to the Business School of Columbia University in New York to study under Benjamin Graham, the father of value investing. Graham taught Buffett that investing is all about buying great companies for less than they're worth in the long run, another idea that helped shape Buffett's entire career. So we can see that Buffett had a successful start into business and investing that laid the groundwork for his accomplishments later on. But learning wasn't enough for Buffett. He wanted to put his knowledge into action. And that's where Berkshire Hathaway comes in. Starting in 1951, Buffett began working a number of jobs in investment firms. Then, in 1962, he spotted a struggling textile company called Berkshire Hathaway. The company was failing, but the stock price was cheap, so he started buying shares. But as it turns out, Buffett had a rocky start with Berkshire Hathaway, and it wasn't clear from the start that it would be the company he's forever associated with now. As I mentioned, Berkshire Hathaway wasn't doing great, and soon its CEO tried to lowball Buffett out, offering to buy his shares for much less than they were worth. But instead of cutting his losses and accepting the offer, Buffett did something unexpected. He got mad and decided to take over the entire company, despite its decline. At first, it looked like it might be a mistake. And maybe it was one at first. In fact, Buffett himself later admitted that Berkshire Hathaway was one of his worst investments because the textile industry as a whole was dying. But this is where Buffett's genius kicked in, because he didn't give up and soon turned a bad investment into his biggest success. And he did that by shifting the company's focus away from textiles and towards something way more profitable: insurance. Insurance might sound a bit random, but it was appealing to Buffett for one main reason. Insurance companies collect premiums up front before they have to pay out claims. Think about your car insurance as an example. You're paying the premium every month, but until you have an accident at some point in time, or hopefully never, most of that cash remains in the accounts of the insurance company. That means they're able to hold on to billions of dollars, called float, that can be invested into stocks and other businesses. Of course, they have to pay claims for insurance policies as well, but if it's a well-managed company, that should never completely deplete their reserves. For Buffett, that gave him a steady, large supply of capital to grow his Berkshire Hathaway empire. One of the first insurance companies he acquired was the National Indemnity Company in 1967 for just $8.6 million. But that small, or at least relatively small purchase, would snowball into a financial empire. And with the cash from the insurance operations to invest with, Buffett could start buying pieces of big, stable businesses. Let's talk about some of them. One of Berkshire Hathaway's most famous holdings is Geico, another insurance company. And you might have seen their ads and be familiar with their gecko mascot. Buffett had admired the company for its low-cost, direct-to-consumer insurance model since he was young, and he actually bought some stock for himself in 1951. It did well over the next 2 decades, but in 1976, the company began to struggle. In typical Buffett style, instead of selling, Buffett saw the opportunity to buy shares in a company for much less than they were worth in the long run, so he bought his second round of Geico stock. This turned out to be another one of Buffett's great moves. So much so that in 1996, he bought the entire company outright. And today, nearly 70 years after Buffett first saw Geico's potential, it's become one of the largest car insurance companies in the US, with billions of dollars in assets. A testament to what can happen if you invest wisely and have the patience to wait for growth. Another one of Buffett's early investments was American Express, known for its credit cards that are much beloved by business people as well as a slew of other financial services today. But it wasn't always that way, because in the 1960s, American Express was hit with a scandal that made its stock crash. While everyone was panicking, though, Buffett saw that the company still had a strong brand and loyal customers. As so often, he bought in cheap, and in the 90s, doubled down by buying more stock. Berkshire Hathaway still owns about 20% of American Express today, stock that's now valued at over $40 billion. And in 1988, Berkshire Hathaway invested $1.3 billion in Coca-Cola. At the time, people thought the brand was overvalued, but Buffett thought that it had long-term potential. His bet paid off, because today, his investment has increased nearly 20-fold to over $25 billion. Fast forward to 2016, and Apple became another one of Buffett's famous investments when he started buying up its stock. Apple was a pretty notable investment for Buffett at the time, because throughout his decades of investing, Buffett has largely avoided investing in tech stocks. He said it's because he doesn't understand them well enough to predict where they'll be in the future. And for Buffett, one of the most important parts of investing is truly understanding the businesses you're investing in. So when it came to Apple, the difference was that Buffett saw it as a consumer product company. Think iPhone, Mac, and iPad, rather than just a tech company, giving him a reason to invest in it. And we know now that it would prove to be one of his greatest moves ever. Because today, Apple stock is Berkshire's biggest holding, worth over $150 billion. With each of these moves, as well as many more that this video is too short to cover, Buffett transformed Berkshire Hathaway from a dying textile company into an investment powerhouse worth more than $1 trillion today. And in addition to the stock it holds, it directly owns and controls many businesses across various industries as well, including Dairy Queen, Duracell, BNSF Railway, and many more. So in summary, Buffett's success didn't come from chasing quick profits or trendy stocks. It came from his investment acumen and patience. His strategy was always to find undervalued, high-quality businesses to invest in and hold on to them for years, and often decades. And while it wasn't always clear from the start, eventually it would make him the richest man on earth. By the early 2000s, Buffett's investments, or strictly speaking, the shares in Berkshire Hathaway he owns, had made him one of the richest people in the world, and in 2008, he officially became the richest person on the planet, with a net worth of $62 billion. He even surpassed his friend Bill Gates, who was then worth only $58 billion. But here's what's crazy. He didn't even care about being the richest. Unlike many billionaires, Buffett still lives frugally and appreciates simple tastes. He drives a regular car, eats McDonald's for breakfast, and even lives in the same house in Omaha he bought in 1958 for just $31,500. And Buffett has pledged to give most of his wealth away. In 2010, he and his longtime friend, fellow billionaire Bill Gates, launched the Giving Pledge, promising to donate at least half of their fortunes to charity. Today, Warren Buffett is no longer the richest person on earth. That title has passed to tech billionaire Elon Musk at the time of this taping. But he's still worth over $150 billion, and a more than respectable number 6 on the Forbes billionaire list. But more importantly, Buffett's strategy of investing for the long term is still one of the best ways to build wealth. Buffett proved that you don't need to invent something new or start a tech company to become rich. You just need patience, discipline, and smart investing. And that's something we should all be aware of on our financial journeys. And by the way, if you want to participate in what Warren Buffett is investing in, you and everyone else can do so by buying shares of Berkshire Hathaway on the stock exchange. Even a single share comes with a ticket to the famous annual shareholder meeting in Omaha, if you're interested in going. Drop us a note below if you're interested in learning more about buying shares in Berkshire Hathaway. And that, everyone, is all we have for today about Warren Buffett. So while we might not all be as practiced in investing or as wealthy as Buffett is, we can learn a lot from his life and financial journey. What's your biggest takeaway from Buffett's life? And what do you think is the most interesting fact about him? Leave a comment below to let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. And make sure to check out this fun video here on the 100 most valuable companies in the world by market cap. Berkshire Hathaway is one of them, but there are quite a few others that might surprise you. See you again next time.